my pad ball up. Dumping in bag, friends from the turn and the haters, I'm watching them fall up. I just walked in the sage, she looking like she wanna spit on my rags. She looking like she tryna spit on this debt. I think she just tryna spit for the cash. I think she just wanna spend for the money. That's probably why I'm a fucking in dash. Cut to her hold my DM, she looking good.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. 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 Huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Who knew a bad bitch would be so bad for me? I'm like, I tell that ass up, you turn your back to me. The best of shit don't ever last enough. The best of shit don't ever last enough. I guess I had your back, always backed you up. I fuck that bitch, but she ain't shit, so we ain't had enough. Brody, let that.
All right. Man, that's a good ass song though, man. What are the canon choices in The Walking Dead season 1? Since I've been, working for my client, my dog, my brother, it's Chris 6K or it's Chris Vods, and been uploading his Walking Dead content for him recently, for his VOD channel. This is not even a plug for real, but I'm just letting y'all know more insight into my life, because I am like an editor, but I am a content creator. So that's why you kind of see a lack of videos, because I be doing so much and I be trying not to burn myself out. I be trying to contain my energy and shit and trying to make sure what the fuck? I be trying to make sure like I got enough energy to like really keep going though. I don't know what the fuck, just felt some shit on my shoulder and I don't know what that shit was, and I did not see it. We gonna get into this video though. I almost called y'all Rich Money Man, but I mean 82 Society. The content creator that we are watching is Joshua TXI. His channel will be in the description down below alongside the title of this video, so that you can watch his original content, just like how I do in every video, where I put the content creator's link in the description down below. I also have a main channel, my gaming channel, where you can see more of my content like Let's Plays, PS2 games, Dragon Ball Z games, horror games, a whole bunch of other games and shit. But that being said, we're going to get into this video, so let's see what this bitch talking about. It's the final video of the day. Shit, I don't know when this one going up though, but yeah, man, happy Friday.
Despite being a choice-driven series, I've always wondered what the canon decisions in Telltale's The Walking Dead actually are.
I'm on
This
my
video
reaction
isn't about
time,
telling
boy.
you which choices are right.
fuck?
It's a very deep dive
My
into
fault.
what the narrative itself seems to imply. With that cleared up, let's break down the major decisions and what Lee would most likely have done in the story Telltale built. Episode 1. We first need to establish who Lee is before our input. Simply put, he's an everyman ex-professor who wanted children. He's soft-spoken and calm. Despite killing his wife in an emotional dispute, he clearly...
Huh? He killed... Wait, no. Did... Nigga, he killed the senator. Yeah, wait, this is AI though. I don't need niggas frying me. There are cut lines that indicate the senator was Lee's friend, which is what triggered Lee to attack him directly. It really put into perspective for me not only why Lee killed a senator, but why a senator was even in the situation in the first place. Like, it's not impossible for him to have been there, but for some reason it felt so improbable for some random senator to be shacking up with the average lives of Lee and his wife. The senator having, I mean, if his wife is bad, his wife is bad. And if the senator greedy or lustful enough, he gonna go for it. You feel me? The senator having being an old friend made so many things about the situation click into place. It's not like senators are at the guard 24/7. Just a few months ago, some crazy guy in America went around to at least two of the senators' house and shot them. Okay. Okay, yeah. So, nigga, he did kill the senator, not his wife. Right? Wait, huh? Wait, nigga, I'm getting so confused now. Yeah. If anything, I'm so lost now. This just fucked up my head. But AI says he killed the senator, not his wife. And AI only takes from shit that's already fucking existing. So that has to be true. I'm not trying to say I believe in AI, but I'm saying AI is taking information from other sources on the internet already, and it's just, it's just giving me the most probable option. And I can't find a source that's giving me a reliable and exact answer either. And I don't feel like going into the downs of the dumps to find that shit, because nigga, we are 36 seconds into this fucking video. Are you serious? No, thank you.
Regrets his decision
So
and even suffers.
So he killed the senator in my brain. He ain't killed his wife. That's why his wife is yelling, because she's seeing this nigga murder the senator, his friend. I do like the fact that the senator is his friend. That does make more sense, because the whole randomness of a senator, and being intertwined with Lee and his wife and all that shit. Y'all just seen it on Reddit.
This leads me to a few conclusions. Lee is a moral man with a fairly basic Overton window view of the world. He will likely try his best to understand younger characters, leaning toward guidance and mentorship rather than authority. He's also extremely smart, meaning he knows when to tell the truth and when to present himself as dangerous or kind depending on the situation. So let's begin the series with this basic blueprint. Starting with episode 1, the choices here are fairly straightforward. The first major one is whether Lee lies or tells the truth to Herschel. In my view, Lee would almost certainly lie. He doesn't know Herschel, he's trying to keep Clementine safe, and revealing his past would immediately raise red flags. Admitting too much would make it suspicious that he's traveling with a little girl who isn't his daughter. So hiding the truth fits both his personality and his situation. When the Walkers overrun the farm, Lee would absolutely choose Duck over a grown man. It's the moral choice, and it aligns with how Lee prioritizes protecting children throughout the story. Letting Duck die simply doesn't fit his character, especially after meeting Kenny and seeing the father-son dynamic that mirrors Lee's new role with Clementine. For the same reasons, Lee would almost certainly side with Kenny at the drugstore, which naturally puts him at odds with Larry. Larry is written to dislike Lee regardless of what you do, so this choice feels like an easy canonical assumption. When it comes to saving Doug or Carly, the writing points pretty clearly toward Carly. She has far more narrative weight. She's framed as a potential love interest, and she plays a key role in helping Lee open up about his past. Doug, while likable, doesn't influence Lee's character arc in any meaningful way. So if we imagine a version of Lee outside of player control, Carly is overwhelmingly the choice that fits the story Telltale was building. Episode 2. Episode 2 is where things really get complicated, so we'll focus on the major choices and figure out where a story-driven Lee would realistically fall. Lee would absolutely chop off David's leg. It's a desperate attempt to save someone who still has a chance, especially another teacher. When Jolene appears at the bandit camp, this is where the theory gets bolder. I think Lee would have shot her. She's unstable, armed, and directly threatening him. Lee isn't a pushover, nor is he someone who freezes when action is required, as we see right at the start when he panics and shoots the Walker cop. A real Lee wouldn't gamble his life while Clementine is waiting for him to come back. The danger is immediate, unpredictable, and simply too high to ignore. This would mark Lee's first arguably immoral choice, but one made out of fear and protection rather than malice. This also lines up with the reveal that she may not actually have been crazy. When the
Wait, nigga, let me read. Jolene was an employee of the Save-A-Lot store prior to the start of the game. When the apocalypse first happened, she presumably took refuge in the Save-A-Lots along with her fellow employees. The other employees became barbaric over time, and it is heavily implied from Jolene's dialogue that a few members had killed her daughter. That and almost fucked me up. This resulted in Jolene going crazy as seen when you meet her in season 1, episode 2. Afterwards, Jolene began spying on the motoring group and took an interest in Clem, seeing her as another girl in need of protection like with her own daughter. At some point before season 1, episode 2, she snuck into the motor inn and stole Clem's hat, presumably to try and get on her good side later on.
When the biggest choice of episode 2 arrives, the decision to kill Larry in the St. John's freezer, I don't think Lee would go through with it. You can argue that he might consider it for Clementine's safety, but at this stage in the story, he simply doesn't have it in him to brutally crush a man's skull, especially with Clementine watching and Lily screaming for her father. Even though I personally always choose to kill Larry, it just isn't a realistic call for a Lee who's still clinging to his moral limits. When each member of the St. John's is placed at Lee's mercy, I think Lee would spare Danny, if only to prove him wrong. He wouldn't fall for Danny's trap or validate his belief that the world has completely lost its morals. Lee is still a moral man, and that's reinforced by how quickly he shows empathy toward Brenda immediately afterward. When it comes to Andy, I believe he would hold back and spare him as well, especially with Clementine watching. As for the final choice in episode 2, whether to steal from the car or not, I just don't see a version of Lee that walks away.
Come on, man. Who the fuck is not taking that food, nigga? The fuck? Niggas want to be more look, Clem, I'm sorry, but this is adult time. Okay? Let the adults talk here. This is food that we need after being almost chopped up and eaten by some crazed humans. A crazed family, to be more specific. We need this. Boxes of food, and the car's just on. Whoever was here just had no regard for the food. They just said, shit, fuck it. You know, like, come on, gang. You snooze, you lose. This is the apocalypse. It's a dog eat dog world, nigga. Clem, you gonna have to get used to this.
Supplies are dwindling, and there's no clear timeline on when they'll find food again. Lee's entire arc up to this point shows a man who will risk his moral comfort long before he risks Clementine's life. He isn't going to let her or anyone else suffer over the slim possibility that the true owners might be out there. Episode 3. Episode 3 begins with a brutal dilemma. You can either put a bitten woman out of her misery or let her suffer so you have more time to grab supplies. This is one of the few choices where I genuinely think Lee could go either way. But if I'm forced to choose, I see him choosing to shoot her. It isn't just the empathetic option. It fits Lee's pattern of stepping in when someone is helpless, and it reflects his fear of what could happen to Clementine or anyone else he loves. If he'd want someone to spare them that kind of agony, he'd be willing to do the same for a stranger. When Lily shoots and kills Carly, I think the most realistic outcome is that Lee would leave her behind. At that point, she isn't just unstable, she's a direct threat to everyone's safety. And for Lee specifically, the trauma lands in a very personal place. He's already lost his wife to a moment of violent impulse on his side. Watching Lily murder someone he cared for in a similarly abrupt, senseless way isn't something he could just overlook. Keeping her around would feel like inviting that same tragedy to repeat itself. In Lee's eyes, abandoning her isn't cruelty. It's the only way to protect the people he has left. The clearest call in this episode is the decision to shoot Duck. I'm convinced Lee would take that burden for Kenny. Both men are paternal figures, both terrified of losing the children they're responsible for, and Lee understands exactly what it would mean for Kenny to pull that trigger himself. On top of that, Lee knows deep down that if the roles were reversed, he wouldn't want to be the one to shoot Clementine. That parallel alone makes the choice feel inevitable. Helping Kenny isn't just compassion, it's Lee recognizing a pain he hopes he never has to face. For this same reason, instead of fighting Kenny in the train, he would choose to talk him down. The final choice of the episode, saving Omid or Krista, is another straightforward one. Lee would go for Omid. Krista is able-bodied and mobile, while Omid is injured and struggling. Episode 4. Episode 4.
A lot of these I'm just straight up agreeing with. That's why I'm not really saying shit. I'm agreeing with these. These are very almost canonical choices that I could see. And then some of them are like, yeah, I can see that. When it's like almost 50-50, like, yeah, bro. When it could go either way, I agree. Yeah. With the shooting the woman thing, yeah. It really depends on the player.
Lee's first major choice is deciding who puts down the boy in the attic. After Kenny collapses at the sight of a child who looks so much like Duck, I think Lee would step in without hesitation. Just like before, he'd shoulder that weight for his friend and spare Kenny from reliving that trauma a second time. When Lee encounters the cancer survivor group, he'd choose honesty and a level-headed approach over aggression. At this point, he's disoriented, desperate for direction, and knows escalating the situation helps no one. Being upfront is the safest and most practical way to get the help he needs. Once Lee learns about Crawford and realizes someone has been stalking Clementine, I think he'd bring her along despite the risks. Sure, he could leave her with
That's
Omid,
the second
but
person
Omid's
stalking
injury-
Clem, bro. First it was old girl. She took her hat. Luckily she ain't advanced furthermore. She just had the hat. Clem ain't know where the hat went. Fuck. Nah, but it is sad though. Like Jolene, like she went crazy because her fucking daughter was killed by some barbaric employees, bro. Like that's fucked up.
He makes that option far too risky. After seeing the stranger outside the house, Lee isn't
Look at
going
that
to
nigga.
gamble on leaving Clementine with someone who can't reliably protect her. From his perspective, the safest place for her is right beside him. Now we get to the big one, letting Ben fall or pulling him up. With Lee's
He's
role
pulling him
as
up.
Clementine's protector, plus Clementine explicitly wanting Ben to stay and the obvious moral weight of the moment, I just can't see Lee letting a teenager fall to his death. He isn't that kind of man. I think he pulls Ben up, no question. For a canon run, this doesn't even feel controversial. It's hard to imagine the writers
not.
expecting Lee to make such a cold, irreversible choice. And at the end of the episode, when Lee is bitten while searching for Clementine, I think he tells the truth. At this point, he isn't the convict hiding his past like he was with Herschel. He's a man who's proven himself over and over again, and he knows the group deserves the truth. More importantly, he needs their help now. Telling them what happened isn't just honesty, it's Lee stepping up one last time and trusting the people who've stood by him. For a fun bit of trivia, this path actually leads to Krista, Omid, and Ben all choosing to help search for Clementine. Kenny is the only one who would initially refuse because of his point system, but once Lee appeals to the idea of family, he would change his mind and join the search. This means that a canon Lee run would fall into the same outcome, that only 16% of players reached,
Wow.
with every surviving member of the group stepping up to help find Clementine. Episode 5. And here we are at the finale. So let's dive straight in. Let's start with the gruesome one. Lee would absolutely cut off his arm. It isn't just about slowing the spread, it's about giving himself even the slightest chance of staying alive long enough to reach Clementine. With the clock already working against him, I can't see Lee gambling on the bite getting worse. Amputation is the only move that fits his urgency and his determination. Kenny would quote-unquote die while trying to save Ben, and from there it becomes a straight march to the Marsh house. I think Lee would hand over his weapons to the stranger right away, hoping to defuse things and end the standoff as quickly as possible. But once it becomes clear there's no reasoning with him, Lee would do what he always does when Clementine is in danger. He'd fight back and kill the stranger to stop him from
One-handed
hurting her.
demon,
Very into his
nigga.
journey,
On some future Gohan shit. You ain't never seen a character do some shit like that. The stranger, you sorry. Hey, bro. Sorriest nigga, sorriest villain in the Walking Dead verse, including the comics, the game, and the TV show, nigga.
and kill the stranger to stop him
Look
from
at you,
hurting her.
trash
At the very
ass.
end of his journey, I don't think Lee would tell Clementine to keep her hair short. He'd focus entirely on her safety. He'd urge her to avoid the cities, stay on the move, and find Krista and Omid. In those final moments, Lee isn't thinking about symbolic advice. He's thinking about the choices that might actually keep her alive. And finally, Lee would ask Clementine to shoot him. Not out of fear, but to spare her from seeing him turn, and to make sure he never becomes a danger to her or anyone else. It's the last hard choice he'll ever make, and the one that brings his story to its end.
Lee.
So, what
Lee, bro, would y'all hold on? I'm gonna ask
What do
after.
you guys think? Is my version of a canon Lee accurate, or did I miss the mark somewhere? I know I skipped a lot of the smaller choices, mostly because they don't change the core story all that much, but if you have thoughts on those, I'd love to hear them too. Like, would a canon Lee side with Lily or Kenny? In the end, for me, a canon Lee is someone completely locked in on Clementine's safety. Every decision he makes, every worldview he forms, is filtered through what protects her, what teaches her, and what keeps the two of them alive. He isn't a pure do-gooder, and he isn't a hardened brute. He's a man carving out a middle path, trying to stay human while doing whatever he can to save the one person who still gives his life meaning.
Damn.
This video would not have been possible without my channel members.
Hey, bro. I feel like with the Kenny and Lily question he just asked, that could be just a poll, like for the smaller type of quick time. I mean, not quick time events, but like those type of choices. Those could be like polls on the channel if you wanted to make them. But I mean, that's something up to him though. But man, bro, Lee, damn, bro. Oh man, bro. My dog really gone. I can't wait to really go back and play seasons 2 to 4 and the Michonne DLC for my gaming channel, dog. That shit gonna be so tough. That shit gonna be so tough. Shit gonna be so bad. Keep that hair short, and I'll miss you other canon dialogue choices at the end. Okay, I kind of agree with this a little bit. Wow, okay, so cutting it off. I mean, but granted though, I still like him having his arm and then him just like squeezing squeezing this piece of glass in his hand, and like he just starts bleeding in his hand. He just goes crazy killing zombies. It's kind of badass. Oh yeah, but what I was gonna ask, I don't know why I went quiet like that for a second, like I'm not recording. But my question was, would y'all have liked this game if had it just been this season 1 group, just from season 1 all the way to 4, like just full character development and some deaths in some seasons of certain characters in this OG group, like as if season 1's group was like Telltale's TV, not Telltale's TV, but like the TV shows The Walking Dead main cast type of thing. Like y'all get what I'm saying? Like, would y'all have liked that if this group was the main cast instead of just going from different groups back to back? Because I would have loved to see Clem, Duck, Lee grow, Kenny grow, maybe Kaja. Like, it would have been dope, like seeing us grow with this group from each season to season like 2, 3. I don't know, that would have been 5. Shit, they could still do that, to be honest. Like, they could still make some games. They could do a what if situation if they wanted to. But you know, Telltale ain't really about it for real, bro. But if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead, leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the video, turn on the notifications. That man enjoys the content. Go ahead and sub to Joshua TXI. Like I said in the start of this video, his channel and link will be in the description down below, like I do with all the creators that we react to. My main channel and gaming channel will also be in the description down below, so that you can go and watch all my other types of content that you may possibly like. If you like Dragon Ball Z, Let's Plays, PS2 games, Spider-Man, Batman, all types of shit. So with that being said, y'all, I appreciate y'all for watching. You can also check me out through all of my links. I got a Discord, got my OG, like I said, the gaming channel right here. I got a new gaming channel that I'm making soon. So yeah, bro, y'all can see me anywhere at any time. And with that being said, y'all, I will see y'all in the next video, y'all. Peace.